Really, I wanted to make this video because I see a lot of things I've been loving videos and like August favorite videos, and they're honestly my favorites to watch because you find so many good new products or brands or etc., things like that. But I really wanted to do one in the spiritual realm because I think that it can provide you, whoever's choosing to watch this, with some good, fresh, new insight. I give you particular like supplements that I'm taking, you know, practices that I use, mindsets that I try to acquire, just different things that you can take on to yourself to help better yourself, bring you to your highest good. All of these things may not resonate with you, but there's a good chance that one or two of them might. So I just hope that, you know, this can maybe provide you with a new perspective. Maybe you can try some of these things and they can help you out. So the first thing I want to talk about is something that isn't so glamorous or aesthetically pleasing, I guess, to kind of show or really even talk about, but it's boundaries. Boundaries are something that is honestly so new to me and something that I don't claim to be good at. I actually really struggle with setting boundaries for myself, but it's something that I think I'm getting better at, and it's something that definitely takes a lot of work and self-discipline, just with yourself. Especially if you're an empathetic person, which I would consider myself to be, it can be really easy to be a people pleaser, to say yes to things at the cost of yourself and your own mental health and your own well-being. Really what boundaries I think means for me is understanding yourself to know your limits. Having boundaries means taking a step back, seeing yourself in this position that you're faced with, in this decision that you're faced with, and choosing the route, yes or no. There's no right or wrong. It's just what's best for you in that moment. It's very, very easy when someone approaches you to do you a favor, or maybe just to go hang out or to go do something. It doesn't matter what it is. If there is something or someone that comes your way that you have a choice of saying yes to or saying no to, and you know deep down in your heart and your intuition that saying yes to this one thing is going to set you off track, or if it's going to bring you stress and anxiety, if it doesn't align with who you truly are or who you're trying to be, it can still be difficult with external factors to say no to something like that. The next thing I want to talk about is kind of a practice, and that's journaling. So kind of a backstory, I used to really put a lot of pressure on myself to read, like in the morning, at night, like before I would go to bed, I'd want that to be the last thing I'm doing. When I wake up in the morning, I'd want that to be like the first thing I'm doing, like no phone, I'm just reading. And I came to find that my mind wanders and my mind moves a mile a minute, and instead of trying to mask that by doing an activity that kind of requires your attention being held, though I love reading and I still do read, I just don't put that pressure on myself. Instead, I have been writing more, I've been journaling more, and I've really found a lot of inspiration in doing that and kind of allowing myself to think and to get my thoughts out and to express how I feel, because I am someone that I really struggle verbally, speaking how I feel and, you know, saying things. I just want them to come across in the best way, and honestly making this video is super challenging for me right now, but I'm being vulnerable and putting this out there because it's something I'm working on. But I feel like journaling every day really just helps. It helps, you know, your mental space. It's kind of like a thought dump. You're kind of like word vomiting onto just a sheet of paper. You don't have to show anybody, you don't have to go back and read it, but I think in that moment, when I do it in the mornings, I just set a timer and just write, and then I stop when the timer's done and I just leave it at that. I feel like I go through my days with a lot clearer of a headspace. And it can be really great, and I think you should try it out if you're not a reader, or you know, you don't have to journal, but I think it's really helpful for me, and it's kind of this new thing that I have gotten a lot better at. I've always loved to write. I kind of fell off of it for a while, but it feels really good to be doing it again, and I definitely think that it helps bring me to a higher place. Next thing I want to touch on is very simple, and it's just beverages. Hot beverages, cold beverages, coffee, tea. I'm about it, okay? I just recently bought an espresso, and you might be like, why are you including an espresso in how to get to your higher self video? That is because mornings for me are hard because I have to be at work at 7 a.m. and that can be difficult sometimes. So I kind of bought an espresso, one because I love coffee and espresso drinks, but two because I feel like it really motivates me to get up in the morning and to start my day. Kind of the act of making a coffee drink is therapeutic to me. I spend less money when I don't go to Starbucks every day. This is a very new thing I'm trying out, but that's kind of what I'm hoping this brings me. But yeah, I wanted to include that because honestly, whatever gets you up out of bed in the morning and gets you going, like, it doesn't matter what that is. It's just coffee for me. Also, been loving tea. I've always loved tea, but I go through waves of like, I'll drink it every night, and then I won't drink it for like 2 months, but I've been drinking tea lately. I feel like it just calms me down. It's kind of like this ritualistic thing. I'll get out of the shower and drink my tea like while I get ready for bed and do my skincare. I've also been loving London fogs. I make decaffeinated London fogs at night. I'm thinking of doing like a night routine sometime in a future video, so I'll be sure to link, or not link, what am I saying? I'll be sure to include that recipe in there because it's been kind of like this new thing for me. But yeah, just beverages, making beverages, the act of it, the act of drinking it, it makes me feel good and ultimately brings me to my highest self. I wanted to talk about the idea of understanding and accepting that I don't know or have all of the right answers or right words all of the time. This is something I've recently learned about myself, that I really struggle with feeling like I can't make a video, speak out in a conversation, post something, buy something, etc., etc. I feel like I can't do those things because I don't know enough about it, or I'm not good enough to speak about it or to do it. And I really am working on getting rid of that mindset. And I can honestly say that acknowledging this with myself and working on it is kind of what brought me here today. I've known that I wanted to make videos like this one for a really long time. I felt called to do it, and I think my reasoning why I haven't yet until now is because I just didn't feel like I could explain myself well verbally. I was afraid of saying the wrong thing or saying something that, I don't know, I think I can slip over my words, and I didn't want that to come across as me like not knowing what I'm talking about, or feeling like, you know, the information I'm giving is less valid because of that. But truthfully, I've learned from listening to Kenzie's Burke podcast. If you don't follow her or know who she is, she has a podcast that's called Food, Sex, and Money that I really like. And I've noticed in the way that she speaks on her podcast is she is very kind of slow to speak. You can kind of almost hear her thinking of what she's going to say next. She doesn't use filler words. She is very intentional with every sentence that she says. You know, she doesn't apologize if she slips up in a sentence, and that's something that I really do and that I'm really working on. So that was kind of a whole tangent, but I wrote a couple things down when reflecting on this, and I would like to share them. I can't let the idea of perfection or success continue to hold me back from creating or speaking my mind. That can do for you what it does. You can apply that to whatever you want to apply that to. I think it's a pretty universal mantra, but I really have been telling myself that lately and really trying to tap into more of my free-flowing thoughts, so that I can continue to make content like this, and in hopes that it will bring me to my highest self and help bring like-minded individuals. I just dropped my water bottle. I just hope that you watching this can resonate with something that I'm saying in this video, and that's basically good enough for me to make this video, is if someone takes something away from it or you enjoyed it. But at the end of the day, not everyone is going to feel you. Not everyone is going to love and respect what you're doing or creating, but you cannot let that stop you from doing or creating what you want to do or create. Alright, ashwagandha. This is new to me. I actually started taking this a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's a dietary supplement. I have notes on it, so I'm going to read them. It's a natural remedy for stress. It's classified as an adaptogen. So basically, this has the ability, when you take it, it's just in a capsule form, it lowers your cortisol levels. Cortisol is a stress hormone, so it kind of ties into like fight or flight, that type of response, if you've heard about that. When you are feeling stressed, your cortisol levels are very, very high in your body. In layman terms, this helps that. It brings your cortisol down. It helps alleviate those feelings of stress and anxiety. So if you're looking for an herbal supplement to take to help with those things, try this out. I think this was only $10 or $12. I got it at Fresh Time. And honestly, you can probably find it in any natural or health section of a store. I like to take it in the morning, kind of before my day. I'll take it with a full glass of water. And I do notice when I'm at work, I live in a pretty high, or not live, I work in a very high stress environment, and I feel like it helps to kind of keep me at bay, at level throughout the day. The next thing I want to touch on very briefly is kind of superficial in comparison to the rest of this list, but it's something that's been really prevalent for myself, and I'm sure for other people, men and women, during this pandemic, is I really have been loving more of my natural self than I did. I used to have eyelash extensions. I used to get long acrylic nails like every 2 weeks. I spent a lot of money on like clothes and outfits and all of this stuff and there's nothing wrong with that, and I still love those things, and you know, when it's safe and okay to do all those things again, I might, you know, that's still part of me. I still like those things, but I guess I have been able to kind of take a step back and realize maybe why I was doing those things, and was the intention behind doing that really for my best interest, or to put on not a facade, but to try to be something for someone else or for other people. The next thing I want to talk about is selenite. So selenite is this crystal. It's a crystal that can transmute all negative energies. I'm not going to go fully into detail because I know not everyone is super into crystals and everything like that, but I really do think that they have properties of healing. I have 3 of them, and this is definitely my favorite. I bring it with me literally everywhere. I'll stick it in my purse. I put it in my pocket sometimes. I'll bring it to work. I carry it with me everywhere, and it kind of serves for me as like a shield to other people's energy, and just like negative energy when you're out in the world, or even just in your home. It can kind of help you against your own negative thoughts and energy. I also think it's worth noting where I get my crystals from. So I got this one and all the rest of them that I have from a small business, and she is a Black woman that is so dope. She has the coolest stuff for the most reasonable pricing. I follow her on Twitter and Instagram, and she just like posts this good spiritual content, and I'm all for it. And I also think it's very important to support Black men and women. So go ahead and check her shop out. I will link it down below, and you can go get yourself your own selenite. The next thing I want to talk about is more of a practice that I acquired, that I work on every day and that I'm very mindful of, and that would be being mindful of the content that I consume. So you think about it, and we all have our phones, we have our laptops, we have social media, we read books, podcasts, music. All of these things are coming into our subconscious, into our ether, and they affect us whether we really are aware of that or not. I am super diligent about the accounts that I follow on Instagram and Twitter, and that really is just because I'm very sensitive to stimuli. I'm very sensitive to other people's thoughts and opinions. I'm very sensitive to photos that I see, just different things like that. The content that I see every day has to make me feel good. It has to bring me to a higher place, and if it doesn't, I really don't feel a whole lot of guilt or shame unfollowing or blocking. And I know that that's kind of a taboo thing to talk about, because I have unfollowed people that I know in real life, and I know that some people can really get offended by that, but I think that your social media is yours, and just as you can choose to post what you want, you can also choose to absorb what you want, and that's special and that's important. My camera died, but I'm back. So as I was saying, in each of those spaces, I have really been working on, and I pride myself in unfollowing accounts that don't make me feel good. And the way that I do that, or the way that I initially did that, because now I do believe that I only follow accounts that make me feel good, and I only like will click the follow button now if I look through, and and of course that's subject to change. But the way that I initially did that was I would scroll through my feed, or I would even scroll through my follow list, and if someone or some account's name or a photo would pop up that just didn't sit right, you don't have to understand or pinpoint why it doesn't sit right, because you might not even consciously know. But if that feeling overcomes you, or you feel uneasy just by seeing someone's post or seeing someone's name, why do you follow them? And I think that that's kind of a whole separate conversation. I just kind of want to leave it at that. But I really think it's important to recognize that it's your social media, and it's just as you're able to post what you want, you're also given the space and the right to unfollow and see the content that you want. And I really think it's just that simple. The next thing I want to talk about is pretty obvious to people that are into spirituality and just wellness, but plants in your space really make a difference. I don't know if it's just seeing the greenery or seeing another life form, but it's so beautiful and it's so calming and so relaxing. It also is great for me. I feel like I have a very natural maternal instinct and I love to care for things and to tend to things. I myself don't have a pet, so right now I kind of consider myself like taking care of plants. I have a lot of succulents because they're easiest to take care of, but I also have flowers on my balcony and a nice palm plant, and I feel like ending my day or starting my day kind of being surrounded by plants, if they're just in my space subconsciously, I feel like it really brings me a lot of peace and tranquility. So I think that's it for this video. I'm really proud of myself for putting this together with this sloppy list and just spewing into a camera, but I hope that my thoughts and my words met you where you are, and I hope that you can take from this video what is meant for you. I make a whole wide range of videos, but I definitely think that I want to make more videos like this. So if you're interested or you have specific topics that you would like to learn more about, or any questions about anything that I mentioned, realistically speaking, everything that I mentioned in this video, like every bullet point, could be its whole separate video. I could talk for days about this stuff. So if you're interested about anything in particular, whether mentioned in this video or not, let me know. You can either comment or DM me on Instagram. I love all of that stuff. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful morning, day, evening, whenever it is that you're watching this. And I hope that you stay well, stay healthy. Make sure you're taking care of yourself, you guys. This is a difficult time for everyone, and it is affecting everyone in a different way. But I hope that you know that you are so loved and so supported and so valuable. Your life is so valuable, and I hope that each and every one of you knows that and believes that. Thank you so much again for watching this video. I love you so much, and I will talk to you in my next one.